No matter what factors are out in the world, we can always make sure to connect using the digital space.
Exactly, and we here at No Box Dance, as a digital dance company, want to continue connecting resources and people through the digital space. However, to address this time, we're really interested in talking about social distancing.
Yeah, so if you've been looking for resources, this is just a reminder that every Monday we offer Evolving Labs, which are resources, our digital archive that has physical and digital resources such as books, websites, databases. You can find it on social media or on our website.
Right, every Wednesday we release a new episode of the Dance Beyond the Screen podcast. You can also find show notes on our website.
Also, we realize that the digital is not the only way to enjoy dance, but it's a way to bring people together. So our latest platform is the No Box Dance Short Series, NBSS, a digital dance short series that will premiere on No Box social media accounts to promote art making and artist connection via the digital space. So if you go to our website, go ahead and click on the orange tab.
Yeah, please enjoy our social distancing mini-series where we share short interviews with artists, scholars, and companies to help you through these trying times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can find the link to all these resources below. And we want to continue to help you make, share, and connect through the digital space. Don't forget,
say no to
the box!
Hello, everyone. I am here with Olivia Educator, who is the founder and CEO of Dance Ed Tips, which is a company that creates digital resources for dance teachers. And they provide online courses, workshops, curriculums, and all sorts of materials on their website. So we're very grateful that you made time to come on our mini-series to talk about social distancing and just this pandemic that's truly spreading. But if it's okay with you, can we just jump right in?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, great. So can you briefly share what resources Dance Ed Tips offers, and more importantly, how you would recommend educators and artists using these resources right now?
Dance Ed Tips, we have different types of resources, online courses, but I think right now it's probably the most relevant is our digital downloads that we offer. We have to people, something that people are using a lot right now during the pandemic are flashcards. I actually have a set here. This is probably our most popular deck. It's the warm-up cards. And basically they're just flashcards that are separated into the different stages of a warm-up. And so dance teachers or students can kind of put them in any order and then dance it out. So I've been posting them on my social media. I've seen a lot of other dance teachers for right now, and it's just kind of a fun way to get kids excited about moving at home and making it fun and different than what they normally have in class. But we offer a lot of other downloads too. Right now we have, I created kind of this bundle that is at home challenges or worksheets, and it's actually a fundraiser that we're doing for the Artist Relief Tree Fund. So it's 5 worksheets that you can assign students while they're in quarantine or if they're learning from home. And it's just little things that they can do to keep dancing every day. And 3 of the worksheets don't require technology, which I think is important for us to kind of think about, that not all students have access to technology and that kind of thing. So we're just trying to develop things as we go. And, you know, we always like taking special requests, or, you know, we like to listen to our audience, and whatever they need, we want to make and support and do for them. So, but those are the kind of the main 2 we have going on right now that seem to be really helping people.
Great. And we'll make sure to provide links for all of that below. So on the Dance Ed Tips Instagram, I saw that you mentioned you surveyed some of your university students to kind of find out what their situation is in terms of online and distance learning. I was hoping you could kind of talk about what you heard from them and then some of the solutions that you might be considering.
Sure. Yes, that was really important for us to do at Hofstra because we were all very concerned. We have students from all over the US that are on the West Coast that have all different types of home situations. So, you know, some students said, I don't have reliable internet access. Like doing a live online class is not going to be possible for me. Some of them even said, even downloading a video is not going to be possible for me. We're just so used to them being on campus and having really reliable Wi-Fi and can do all these things that we ask. I have one student who reached out. She is working at a grocery store. That's her job at home. And so she's working overtime. She's like in contact with a lot of people. She's supporting her family who's been affected financially. So that survey was so important because it really opened our eyes up to the reality. Because I think, if you're a salaried person and you have normal Wi-Fi, you're like, oh, we could do this and that. And then you really need to think about what's actually possible for them. So I'm planning on doing some of those, more techie things, like doing a live dance class. But for those who can't have access to that, I'm thinking a lot about doing worksheets and kind of developing almost like little mini people can do on their own and kind of guide themselves through. As an educator, we need them to sometimes show that they're analyzing or processing those. A lot of flexibility in terms of how they do that. Do they want to do a written response reflecting on the activity? Do they want to do a movement response? Do they want to do a poem? Do they want to paint about it? I just want my assignments right now to give them access and flexibility, but also be kind of healing and nurturing and give them kind of an outlet in this kind of scary time. So I'm trying to be flexible with how they can show me their understanding and their knowledge.
So what are some ways that you are engaging or you plan to engage with those who have like the limited access in terms of technology? You mentioned worksheets and things. Could you talk more about how you might be getting the information to them?
The majority of our students have at least a cell phone and their email. We've got 100% response rate through our Google form where we ask them all these questions. And so I know that they at least have those basics. So any type of worksheet or kind of interactive that I'm doing, I'm trying to make it something that they could literally do on photo on their phone. Like they could mark it up and circle things, or they just need to do an email response or something that's just very straightforward and doesn't require too many apps, or especially I think it's the video portion that makes it really hard for students. I think if it's
because of the storage and things. Yeah.
And like streams and that kind of thing. So I'm just trying to do for them just kind of downloads and worksheets that they can just access through their email, screenshot it, and if I need them to respond, it can be through email or through their phone. And then, if they have access to more, then hopefully, they can get creative as to how they do that. But 6, I think I'm going to kind of stick with for those students who are really struggling during this time.
That's great advice. I noticed on your blog, there was an article talking about the financial uncertainty that many artists and students and educators are facing at this time. And it suggests making a budget and things like that. But I was wondering if you have any other resource recommendations on that topic, dealing with the financial turmoil really right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of struggling with this myself because I think a lot of people are doing free with it, which I think is fantastic. And that, not a lot of people can afford things, but at the same time, we as artists are used to already doing so much for free or for exposure that it feels like this is the time where we really need money, like exposure is not going to solve this.
We just talked with Jill Homan Randall, and she was mentioning some of the same ideas. It's like, it's great doing things for free, but at the same time, we all need to make money.
Right. Exactly. So I think that as artists, sometimes I think we're cautious to kind of lean into those entrepreneurial skills, lean into technology, because sometimes it feels like, there's like negative connotations around that, trying to make money around our art. But I think we have to embrace it. We just have to go for I have a friend currently, he's out of work. And so he's doing fitness classes and he's asking for donations. Like, he's kind of recommending that everyone who wants classes donate $10. Like that would go a long way for him. And so I think some donation-based classes is a really good idea. kind of similar things that I do. If you have kind of a niche or an expertise, think about developing like a digital thing. I'm always willing to help too. So if people have stuff that they can use my platform to support people, I'm all about that. I'm happy to do that. And I think that's the important part too. People who have a platform, people who have that entrepreneurial strength, and if that's their skill set, I think they need to really be reaching out and being willing to support and lending a helping hand to people who maybe don't have those skills, or this is all new for them. So I think the more that we can collaborate and support artists, the better off that they'll be. We'll all be really over.
And I know us too at No Box, we want to be able to help everybody as much as possible. Just like you mentioned, especially since some of us have been kind of negotiating the digital space for a little bit longer. So it's not as new to us as it might be for some other people. So how would you recommend facilitating community during this time?
I'm actually working on a little secret project, but I'll tell you guys about it because I think it's really important. I think as artists, we are really good at facilitating community. So my COO of Dance Ed Tips, her name is Lauren Connolly. She's a longtime friend, amazing choreographer in person. And so we were having a meeting with our other friend, Michaela Roy, who's the CEO of the Streamline Studio. And we were just all kind of hanging out, and we all had a glass of wine in our hands, and we were like, we need to do this for people. Like, we need to hang out even virtually. So we're actually having a trial run tonight. We're going to do a dancer happy hour, hopefully every Friday for the next coming weeks. Hopefully live performances and games and like ways to interact through Zoom and that kind of thing. So we're testing out some of the games tonight to and they're actually like make sense, but hopefully they do. And so next week we're hoping to open it up to the public and just invite people just for an hour to out and vent and watch other people dance or sing or do maybe a monologue or that kind of thing, and then like have some fun in between. So I think that what's going to come out of this, because we're great at as artists, is to problem solve and collaborate. So I think a lot of things like that are going to start happening, and I'm excited that Lauren.
That's amazing. Well, in the future, how can we connect with this dance happy hour? Will you be able to share it on your website and things like that?
Totally. We'll definitely do a lot of posts about it on social media for this coming week, and for hope every week. And it'll be definitely on our website, and then we'll probably send an email out to people who are also on our newsletter. So if they want, more info, or they want to be the performer in it or something like that, they can definitely get in contact with us.
Awesome. Cool. We'll make sure to link that.
And you're invited.
Yay. Awesome. That's amazing. This is really cool. I love how, this is such a hard, challenging situation, but like you mentioned, there's so many cool creative ways that we're able to all come together. And so thank you for facilitating that community space. I think that'll be really amazing for people. So I have about 2 more questions for you, since this is a mini series. I'm known for talking a lot. But I'm curious, what other advice do you have for performing artists or art organizations or even patrons negotiating this time right now?
Yeah, I know especially freelance artists and also studio owners I've been speaking a lot to are really struggling. And I think what I've been saying to people through our fundraisers is, if you can help, please do. And if you can at the moment, if you're someone who needs a helping hand, let us know so that we can send you things for free and kind of support you. So I think definitely creative in terms of, your entrepreneurship and your technology skills. If you're someone who's struggling right now, try new things. I know sometimes it feels scary. When I first started Dance Ed Tips, I was using technology I wasn't familiar with, and it's okay to make mistakes and things like that along the way. But, this is the time to try and to experiment with different ways of having people pay for your services or engaging with other organizations so that they can help you get paid. And I think on the side of the spectrum is, if you're a patron and you still have a salary and can afford it, do your part in really supporting those people. I personally, I'm craving art even more. I'm craving we're craving that escape. And so I think the people who can afford to help, I think, don't be afraid to step in and do it. Like, this is when we really need to support each other. So, whether that's donating to like the Artists Relief Tree Fund, or it's, sending people some groceries if you can afford it, just anything you can to support our artists while they're, transitioning and trying to figure out what's going to happen next with their livelihood and their situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great advice. I'm grateful that you found this artistry fund, and I'm sure there's many other platforms too that we can all find ways to support and donate.
Yeah.
So my last question for you is, how are you seeing social media impacting the dance world? And perhaps this could be more current, but I'm also curious if you've seen a huge shift since you've started Dance Ed Tips as well.
I think there's pros and cons with social media. I think everyone can attest to that. Overall, I've found that it's more positive than negative. I've been able to meet people from around the world and build really meaningful relationships. Like, I talk to someone in Indiana every day, and she's become a really great friend and colleague. I talk to someone in Canada. There's just many people I would have never had access to before social media that I'm able to really connect with and collaborate and do things with. So that's been really community aspect, and everyone who follows Dance Ed Tips and is part of what we do, I just feel so connected to them, and it feels really authentic and real. And on the other side of the spectrum, I think the thing that's been hard is a lot of like the artistic plagiarism, intellectual property, like those kinds of things are things that I think social media is hurting the dance world in. I think those were big problems to begin with before social media, right? Those are things that have been around for a long time, but ownership of ideas, crediting people, not crediting people. It's even happening now in this pandemic. People have an idea and other people run with it and don't give them credit. And it's that I think is challenging. And I think we need to do a better job of crediting the people who have done really great work and that we're influenced by. But overall, I think it's been pretty positive, and I have a strong through social media. And if I can say one last thing, I think it's also made dance accessible to a lot of people. Like, if you think about TikTok and the massive craze that it's become, everybody's TikTok, everyone's dancing, everyone's got their little, their little screen up there. In my schools that I work at, I feel like I'm as a passerby. So I think that that's great too for the dance world. That's making it really accessible for people, and that they can be part of it and do it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I think I'm very grateful for social media, especially during this time period, that we already have these connections established. And so now we're really able to stay connected with our community, both at a personal level and then like through our company as well. So as we wrap up, I'm curious if you have any last recommendations for us all experiencing social distancing in this pandemic.
I would say I've felt the best throughout this whole situation when I've reached out to people and communicated with them, calling them, whether it was by texting them, whether it's by hopping on, FaceTime or Zoom or whatever. I feel the more that we reach out to each other, the more that we check in with each other, the more we'll be able to just support each other, whether that's financially, whether that's emotionally, in any way. But I think if we keep distancing ourselves also virtually, we can't have those meaningful relationships, and we can't really help each other through this hard time. So I just hope that people continue to connect and reach out if they want to support, and also if they need support.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for your time. And those listening, I'll be sure to link everything that we talked about below, including the Dance Ed website and social media handles and everything like that, and especially the donation fund as well. So hopefully you can donate or invite somebody to donate. But I just want to say thank you again so much. This was a really great conversation, and I know it'll provide some insight for some of our listeners.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.